So the reason I'm so far behind with these daily videos is, well, basically I was in the middle of doing an assignment, which took a lot longer than I expected. And I'm not going to go into detail about that. Some of you know, some of you don't. But either way, I got the assignment done. I wasn't completely happy with it. But the topic of the assignment was basically what I've titled the video, reflection on leadership, and basically reflection on my leadership. And this is part of the MBA studies that I've started. So it was actually very interesting because the start of it was to self-evaluate or self-assess your own leadership, like compared to in or across 14 different traits. And that was interesting because I did that and rated myself. And then the next step then was to go and get 5 people who are familiar with your leadership to go and do it as well. And I'm not going to go into details about the results themselves, but what I found interesting was that how I rated myself was actually lower than what the people that I gave the assessment to do rated me. And the areas that were that I'd rated myself higher than the average of all the people was only slight. So in actual statistical numbers, we're talking about it was between 1 to 5, so you could rate 1 to 5 to each. If I'd rated myself higher, there was less than 0.5 difference. So it was very, very small. However, the areas where I'd rated myself lower, then those areas, most of them, I think I ended up being rated higher by everybody else by rating of 1. By 1.0 or more. So it was very interesting because then that showed me that, well, the average for all of them across the thing was an average of 4 or higher out of 5. So I'm like, well, that's interesting. Apparently, according to these things, my leadership traits are quite high, but I think of myself lower than the people who are familiar with my leadership see me as, which is really surprising for me. But anyway, the thing then with that was, you have to then, because it's an assignment, I had to look at then the development of that and how those skills came about and what happened with that. And that was interesting too, because the very first thing in the classes, in the learning and reading material that I had to go through was that following is actually part of leadership as well. And that is really where it started. And then watching the progression of that from being a follower to being given positions of leadership to then actually stepping out and doing leadership on my own, in my own business where you're responsible for everything. It's interesting to stop and reflect and look back when someone, or in this case something, asks you to, and just to take that time to look at how far you've come and how much things have changed. It's very eye-opening. But yeah, I realize that I've still got a lot to learn and a long way to go, but as with the survey or the assessment, evaluation, whatever you want to call it, results, I forget which one it was referred to. I kept changing my mind as to what I was going to refer to it as in my assignment. Maybe I'm judging myself or evaluating myself more harshly than I need to. Or maybe that's just me setting a high stand for myself. But either way, it was really interesting. And you know what? Whether it's leadership or something else, I would encourage you to do this, to pick a topic that you're interested in, growing in, developing in, focusing on, working towards something, and just sit down and think and reflect, over however long it's been since you started it. Say it's working with technology because you don't feel you're that great about it, or with it, whatever the term is. Sit down and look, 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago, what did that look like? How different was it? And how far have you come since then? It's actually quite encouraging. So yeah, I'd encourage you to do that because I found it very helpful. Although I guess on the flip side, if you find that it's not so great and you're like, I could have done more with that, or could be doing more with that, or should have come further, maybe that's like a kick up the butt to actually do something with it. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. I hope that helps somebody. It was, like I said, a really eye-opening experience for me. And hopefully a passable assignment. We'll find out. But anyway, hope you're having a great day. Hope to see you next time. And if you want to see me next time, you can follow, or subscribe. That's it. Have a good weekend. Thanks. Bye.